we painting eggs? They look like potatoes because they are potatoes. The Democrats want you to believe that everybody in America has been for Easter. They were dyeing potatoes instead of eggs because eggs were too expensive. I want to talk to you about that today on the Chad Prather Show because I don't know if any of you in the chat, any of you with your kids or grandkids, were dyeing potatoes. The Democrats want you to believe that, though. They are convinced that that's what's going on in America, that Americans, we are so broken and so poor and so impoverished at this point that in order to celebrate Easter, we had to paint potatoes. You can't make it up, people. Welcome to another episode of the Chad Prather Show. It is Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. Hope you had a specifically fantastic Easter. Here we are. It is overnight. A lot of news stories came out. We talked about some of those on the Dear America program. I want to talk to you about some things we didn't talk about this morning, go a little bit deeper into that. Of course, we're going to get some insight from, great minds like Party Foul Steve and see what he's got to do with shedding some revelational insight on these topics. I hope everybody was able to go and listen to last Thursday's Chad's Church talking about how to live in light of the resurrection, specifically the empty tomb. If the power of Christ, the power that raised Christ from the dead is available to you, then why aren't we walking in it? And I talked about that for about 10 minutes, and I thought it was worth sharing again. So I created a whole other YouTube link took the sponsors out of it and just put that message in there for about 10 or 11 minutes. You can go watch it whenever you get a chance. I am happy that you guys are in the live chat. I'd love to see you blow it up with a couple of American flags. Toss those things in there. We had a fantastic weekend. We traveled a lot. I got to give a shout out to old Party Foul Steve, man. That dude is a workhorse. He's been grinding with me for a decade now, and let me just say, he's a servant spirit. All right, I'm going to say it before he comes on here because I don't want to make him blush or cry or whatever, or poop his pants. But he is a servant-spirited dude. And we did the show in New Orleans. Great crowd, fantastic crowd. We had a blast with everybody there. And then we went up to Hattiesburg, Mississippi, Saturday night and had a fantastic there. But we wanted to get back for Easter. And so Party Foul Steve, he said, let's jump in the truck. And we drove, 7 hours through the night, all the way back home. Got home, I guess, about 4:30 in the morning, almost 5 a.m. So yesterday was sort of a brain foggy kind of day. But Party Foul Steve, he has an app, and I'm going to pick on him about this when I get him on here. He's got an app on his phone that tracks all of the stuff that he did on the trip. It tells you how the route you went, tells you how fast you went, the highest rate of speed you went at any given time. It tells you, all the different details and data and analytics of your trip. But it's got a unique stat in there that said 77 risky events occurred during your trip. And I can assure you that there were a number of them because if you're driving through the road construction of Mississippi and Louisiana that they've been doing for the last 65 years, it is an adventure. It is one of those Jesus take the wheel, and when he does, he hands it back and says, you're on your own, champ. I came out of a deep sleep after dozing off immediately in fear for my life because we were headed towards a cement wall a couple of times, but Party Foul Steve navigated us away from it, and we made it back home again. For those of you who missed the announcement today, I have canceled my shows. There were 3 shows planned for this weekend in Panama City Beach because we couldn't get the venue to respond to us. That's never happened in all my years of touring full time. We were like, we need the details on shows. We need to know the number of tickets sold. We need to know how we need to run ads, the logistics, where we're going, what we're doing. Like we started over a week ago asking for a response. We got nothing. Maybe it's because the spring breakers were down there shooting up the town, but we got nothing. And so we had no choice but to logistically say this is not a feasible date for us. So we canceled it. So I'm encouraging you, if you have tickets to those shows, get your refund from the venue. We're going to work on another venue down there, but we are going to be in Fort Walton Beach June 14th. So we'll be back down in the Panhandle, down in that area. Come see us when you get an opportunity. Watch Chad.com for all the fun stuff. I got people that complain, says, well, you should just go down there and show up. No, we don't just go show up. We don't do that. We make sure that we actually travel with a pretty decent sized crew. It's actually a decent show. We have a lot of gear. We have a lot of logistics, and we don't just spend the money. It's expensive to do what we do, traveling across the country. I'm not taking my guys all the way halfway across the country to do something, and then after you've been ghosting us and disrespecting us the whole time. So anyway, we're not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not afraid to tell you I'm not going to do it. Listen, we got some things to get into. Before we do, I want to remind you about my friends over at Patriot Protect, patriot-protect.com to be specific. You can put a /chat on the back of it. We've talked to those guys, and let me tell you, I am a customer of theirs, and they have done a phenomenal job keeping me safe and clear from the dark web, the deep web, the spam calls, the phishing emails, all the garbage emails that are out there. They protect me. What they do is they scour the dark web. They get out there and find where the AI criminals are doing the cyber stalking, and they erase your name and information from the internet. And you want that. You need that. It's just a couple of bucks a month. It is worth it to get your privacy, stop the scammers, get all of those emails and calls erased, and get your home address off of dadgum Google where people can find you. They are the best in the business, and I encourage you to go over there and not only get that, but get their blackout protection, which is a one-time fee that will absolutely stop everything out there. I mean, they powerful stuff, and it's getting sophisticated, this cybercrime, this AI stuff. I'm doing some classes right now. You guys can make fun of me if you want on AI, because here's what I believe. I believe that AI is not going to take over the world. I believe the people who understand AI are going to take over the world against the people who don't understand AI. And how big it gets, we'll see. But I've been taking classes about AI. This stuff is sophisticated, man. And they're out there, they're using it to get after you. So go to patriot-protect.com/chat. All right. I've talked about him long enough. Now let's talk to him. Party Foul Steve's in the house. What's up, buddy? The dogs go wild.
Sorry, I just got back. I had to step away for about 10 minutes.
What'd you go do?
I just had to get ready for the show.
You just now got back?
I missed your opening monologue, so you have to do it all over again.
Why do you lie?
I just want to hear it one more time. I mean, I want to hear it the first time.
Yeah, you want me to say all that again about how great you are and all that kind of stuff?
It makes me feel good because, there were a lot of events on that drive, and you were asleep for them.
Tried to be. I'm a dozer. I will doze off, and that's for sure. But I tried to wake up every now and then and scream at you, like, what is going on? It is the roughest roads, man. It's impossible to get comfortable on those roads.
Yeah, it's been that way my whole life, and that's a long time.
Same. Mine, too. We came back I-10, and it was brutal, brother. I mean, they're constantly working on that stuff. So, hey, your tax dollars at work, right?
Yeah, that's it. But, no, it was actually a great trip. It was a good run.
Todd and Kendra came out, and Maggie Moo and her husband Kevin, they came out. It was a good time.
Yeah.
We had fun, man. And looking forward to go back again. But I'm actually sort of okay with having the weekend off this weekend. So
whenever it was finalized that it was canceled, I was like, all right, I'm good with that. That felt good.
Yeah. So. We travel a lot, and I know nobody's interested in that. But we travel a lot. We're out there a lot, and I've never dreamed of giving it up, although I'm very selective. Like I say no. Now, I used to be willing to go anywhere, and so I'm very selective about where we go because it's a crazy world we're living in. And I see the videos. Like I saw a video of this guy that was working on the side of the road just yesterday. I saw this clip. I don't know when it happened. Somebody walked up behind him with like a pipe wrench. He just whacked him on the back of the head and just knocked him out. Now the guy's in critical condition. I mean, we live in a weird world. The mayor of Panama City said no more spring break. No more spring breakers down here in our town. We can't control it anymore. It's gotten wild. It's gotten violent. There's, people are shooting guns or shooting each other. No more of this, they're tearing up the city. We have raised just a bunch of heathens and savages in this culture, and they're ruining it. This is why we don't have nice things.
It is. It's exactly. And our situation with we're having security cameras put up today because of some recent events. We're not going to talk about them on the air, but my house is off limits.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's.
And I know a lot of people who are social media people who have a big following, And they've had to say, like, they've had to make videos that says, "Don't come to my house." Like,
Yeah,
don't come to my house.
yeah, and that's it's sad that we have to say that, but
I'm I've had
I talked to law enforcement this morning, and it's being taken care of. So
I've had Christmas presents left on my front doorstep. We were talking about a stalker a long time ago that like posted a picture of my door handle, or it's like weird stuff that's out there.
it's not just weird. It from this side of it is scary, and it could be harmless. It could be something that's just simple, harmless, but it can
Well,
also be scary.
and the thing is, if you come to my house, there's a good chance you're gonna meet with a violent conclusion, and I don't want to do that because I don't want to have to go through the pain of having to defend myself in a court over what happened. Fortunately, we do live in Texas,
Yeah,
but we've had some stuff that's happened over the years. It's pretty wild. We've had stalkers that have followed us around the country and taken pictures of us. We didn't even know they were in the city that we were in, and then they just. I'm like, I don't know how these people had the budget to follow us around the country.
yeah.
But
It's,
we've had that happen. There's some wild folks out there, man. There really are some wild folks. And again, nobody cares about that stuff. We're just talking about stuff to be talking about.
it's real.
I mean, I like to say it because if you're in the live chat and you're trying to go to Party Foul Steve's house, quit.
Yeah, it's no, it's I spent a long time keeping my circle close, and it's making me tighten it down even closer.
Yeah,
You can't get much closer.
you are a circle person. Like Steve
Yeah,
doesn't even want to go out to dinner outside of his circle.
yeah.
I'm going to eat corn brulee tonight, though.
I
I've made
might
up
be
my mind.
I might be there.
Yeah, I can afford you.
I-
You're welcome. You're more than welcome as long as you bring your wife.
All right.
Um,
You think I'm gonna go out to eat without her?
no, you're
All
not.
right.
I love
Yeah.
my corn brulee. Oh, I love that stuff so much, man. I eat the whole thing right by myself, and corn is so bad for you, but I don't care. Another thing that's bad for you is dying. Pope Francis has passed away at 88. Pope Francis, I didn't realize that he has been in the papacy for 12 years. That's a long time.
I thought it was like Pope John Paul or something. That's the only one I ever remember.
Bro, that's the
Name.
80s, man. They shot that dude in like 82.
He got shot.
Yeah.
That's the only one I
He
ever
didn't get
remember.
assassinated, he got shot.
I mean, I'm not. I married a Catholic, but I mean, we're not Catholic. This is not my thing. It's not my thing.
Apparently, we can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
No, Pope John Paul II, like they had to put there because they had to create the Pope Mobile so they could take him out in public so he wouldn't get assassinated.
is a Pope like the president of the Catholic Church? I mean, is
No.
that how it works?
No, he's the incarnation of Christ, and according to the Catholic doctrine, he's the incarnation of Christ in the earth. Rules from a papal throne in the Vatican, which is
What's
the center.
a paper throne or
Papal, Papal. So the papacy is the Pope. That is what the
It just sounds funny.
well.
Papal.
Tread lightly. You'll have the Roman Catholics on your ass today, which is fine. I get on his ass if you. But yeah, the papacy, the papal throne in the Vatican, which they believe is the center of the universe for Christendom, I strongly disagree. And that's another theological thing that we could discuss anytime you guys want to have that. He was not a good pope. He was not a great person in regards to that. I will say that he suffered from a chronic lung disease and had part of his lung removed as a young man, so he lived with that. And they put him in the hospital February 14th of 2025, and that respiratory crisis developed into a double pneumonia. The last 38 days he's been there. That was the longest hospitalization. But I mean, they get these guys that are in their 80s.
Yeah, why not get a young pope? I mean, the
I don't
president.
think they want to live with them that long. I think they get them as old as they can because they've kind of gone through all the stuff, and this has really become a politicization of the Catholic Church. This has become a politicization. They just find the person who's been there longest. And I bring this up. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. My question about this is, regardless of whether you're Catholic or not, if you're in any way, shape, or form a Trump supporter or a conservative, this was not your guy. This was not your guy. And I'm not for the building up and pedestal putting of a man and say that they're the embodiment of Christ. They're not. I don't believe in sainting people. I don't believe you put people into sainthood. I don't believe in any of that stuff. I don't believe in intermediaries. I believe in 2 Timothy 3:5 that says there's one mediator between God and man, the man Christ Jesus. The priest doesn't have the ability to absolve your sins. You have the ability to interpret your own scriptures. You don't need a priest helping you do that. And again, these are big blanket statements I'm making that'll make some people upset, but I don't care.
I just think if you're going to worship a God, whatever your religion is, I think you should be able to talk to him.
Yeah, and I have
Like
people
straight
all the
up.
time who says,
I
"Well,
don't
that's
know.
not what the Catholic Church believes." But no, it is what the Catholic Church believes, both currently and historically. They believe that the Pope is the embodiment of Christ, and that when he speaks from the papal throne, that he is speaking ex cathedra, which means he is speaking with the same import, emphasis, and should have the same honor and sacredness of the Scripture. And I don't agree with that at all. They also include the apocryphal books that were stored in the Alexandrian library back, whenever. Couple thousand years ago, they included those apocryphal books in there as well because, again, Gregory, they compiled all the books that they could find in one place, and then the Catholic Church maintained all of those things. I don't agree with that. I don't think it's good. But anyway, this
Well, that's because you're a different religion, right? I mean,
well,
is that a different religion
I'm a
from?
Protestant. I'm not. You got in Christendom, you have the Catholicism, you have Protestantism. I'm a Protestant, and Martin Luther, when he nailed his 95 Theses to the Wittenberg door, and started the Protestant Revolution or Reformation, I should say, it wasn't his intention to start a Reformation. He wanted to. What he wanted to do is he wanted to change the Catholic Church. And so his whole goal, when Martin Luther died, he died still seeing himself as a Roman Catholic. But he, had a vision where he felt that the Lord put him under heavy conviction, and it's sola fide, soli fidelis, where it was like by faith, and it wasn't by buying your way out of purgatory. It wasn't buying your way into heaven. It wasn't the basically the dictatorship of the papacy, where it took away the scripture they were adding to the scripture, they were adding works to the faith. And Martin Luther, they were ready to murder him, they were ready to martyr him. And, when his whole bold, here I stand on this doctrine, when he was before the court, but we kind of have this idea of Martin Luther with his chest poked out saying, here I stand, I'm not moving. But he was very much shaking, like he was like not excited to be in front of that court, because he wasn't trying to be anti-Catholic. He was trying to reform the Catholic Church. And of course, out of that came a faith-based Protestant movement. And folks can say what they want to, and Linda, I see what you say. You're raised Catholic, but you weren't raised well Catholic if you believed you didn't have to go through a priest. I mean, that's why people go to confession. That's why people go to Mass. I mean, that the whole point is, now they may not come out and say it in those words, but that's exactly what they believe. That's the whole point of praying to the saints.
Can they have a woman pope?
That's I don't see that happening, buddy. But you never know.
Black woman pope?
We're getting pretty progressive these days.
Yeah.
But the whole sainthood of Mary. And by the way, historically, Catholic doctrine, they didn't just believe in the sinless nature of Jesus; they believed in the sinless nature of Mary. Like they did not only believe that Mary was immaculately conceived Christ, but they believed that she remained a virgin for the rest of her life as well. That she too was sinless. So you can dig up in all this stuff, and you want to get back into if you want to get back into the history of the Catholic Church, and that's Catholic with a capital C, because a lot of even Protestant doctrines refer to Catholic in terms of the entirety of the church in a small c. But the Catholic Church, historically speaking, does believe all of those things. And there's a Protestant Bible. It's the 66 books of the Old Testament and New Testament combined together, 27 books of the New Testament, and then the rest in the Old Testament, and it's without the apocryphal writings that are in there. Again,
sorry, I opened up a can of worms today.
It's okay.
That's but getting lessons.
Yeah. So again, historically speaking, the true. And listen, I'm all for the liturgy. I believe in liturgy. I believe that we've lost our hymnology, we've lost our liturgy, we've lost our ability to have the common book of prayer. I think that those things are useful tools. I think they really are. And see, on the other side, the Protestants, we've become a mile wide and an inch deep. Like we don't know what we believe anymore. We don't have any statements of faith. We kind of just believe whatever goes along, as long as the coffee tastes good that they serve in the lobby and the preacher doesn't go too long. And it's a good music sermon. and light show and all this kind of stuff. So we got all our problems. I can go on both sides of this whole thing. But yeah, I adhere to a faith only, scripture only, faith-based theistic Christianity, obviously theistic, but yeah, anyway, he's gone. My question is, who are they going to replace him with? Are they going to replace him with somebody? Will the pendulum swing? Because this guy was pro-abortion. I mean, the abortion thing is debatable and all of that. Well, no, but these guys, but again, I won't say they were out and out, outwardly pro-abortion, but again, they do things that make it palatable and okay. So, but he was pro, illegal immigration. They would have never called it that. Now,
You'll try to move into the Vatican.
You can't get into the Vatican. I mean, the Vatican is its own country. The Vatican has its own walls, and it's got its own military guard with submachine guns. Try getting in there, buddy. I've done it. You ain't sneaking into the Vatican.
So you don't have any Trin in Guande or whatever, however you say it, or
Trin de Aragua?
13? Yeah.
No, they don't have any of that going in there.
Let's drop some thugs in there.
I mean, architecturally and artistically, it's a interesting place. It's a beautiful place. But no, I don't. You're not getting in and out of there. So you have to wonder. There's a list of people already. I've already seen half a dozen names. One even an American name. One American cardinal or bishop who they're considering. So I don't know. This guy was very much pro. Trans stuff. He was pro, love is love and all this kind of stuff. So there's a handful of folks that are there that are potential replacements. I'm just wondering if it's gone far enough for the pendulum to swing back to maybe a little more conservative pope. JD Vance met with him just yesterday. So he was the last world leader that the Pope met with before he passed away.
Ooh, is that suspicious? I mean, is that just
I was on the internet in the middle of the night, and I was the one who I posted this at 3:30 in the morning because I just happened to be awake when the news broke on this, and I said, breaking news, Pope Francis died after, at 88 years of age. So he says, I just learned of the passing, this is JD Vance, the passing of Pope Francis. My heart goes out to the millions of Christians all over the world who loved him. I was happy to see him yesterday. That was obviously very ill, but always remember him for the homily he gave in the very early days of COVID. It was really quite beautiful. May God rest his soul. So that's a sweet sentiment there. But, of course, there's a picture of JD holding one of his kids there in the Sistine Chapel. That's Sistine, not 16, Steve, just so you know.
Oh, okay.
And you're not supposed to take flash photography in the Sistine Chapel. That's where Michelangelo spent 2.5 years.
Can't do it in Alamo either.
Well, different reasons, though. Different reasons. The Alamo is a hallowed place where men died. The Sistine Chapel is because of the art and the mosaics where Michelangelo spent 2.5 years on his back on scaffolding, painting, and the flash photography will diminish the colors and the art and all of that. So, of course, there's a picture of them and says, some lib melted down and said, how dare he do it? And this was actually one of the Texas politicians, I'm telling you. Anyone who's been to the Sistine Chapel knows that taking pictures inside of it is not only strictly prohibited, but incredibly disrespectful. She has no clue why she says it's disrespectful. I'm embarrassed for our country. Well, you know what? Move to the Vatican. Says, so this picture was taken by the Vatican staff, you insufferable toad. It's not flash photography. I mean, when I was there, they said, no photography. And, buddy, let me tell you, those guys with the submachine guns are watching to make sure you don't.
Dang.
But, of course, they're going to melt down over everything. Forget the fact that there's pictures of every other foreign world dignitary, including Michelle Obama, in the Sistine Chapel getting the tour. But that was okay. But when JD Vance gets a picture, you can't do that.
You just ruined my whole life. I really thought it was the 16 Chapel.
Well, my buddy Mike Yoho out in West Texas, we were there together, and you ain't been anywhere until you've toured Italy with a redneck from West Texas. And Mike said, where's 15 and 17? And I go, what? And he goes, well, we just went to the 16 Chapel. Where's 15? He meant it.
Yeah, I believe it.
He said, did we go through 15? No. He goes, well, we went to the 16 Chapel. There's Moshel right there getting a little art lesson. And you got to appreciate.
Is that an Adam's apple?
Oh boy,
Uh,
boy. CLC in the chat. I like it, Emerald
look
Coast.
at that.
Look at the meltdown.
Mm,
Look at that. Oh, what?
what?
What? For the record, women do have Adam's apples. They just
Yeah,
don't stick
they're
out
just
like
smaller.
men's. Our little allegedly. That's our little disclaimer right there. So we don't know who the next pope could be. But I'll tell you this:
Could be
that's
oh, never mind.
Catholics got all the money. That's for sure, buddy. The Vatican, they control a lot of the wealth. I could go into some deep state concepts and conspiracies if I wanted to.
So
But
what if we had an American pope? Because aren't they from
well,
all over the world,
you
right?
can. I mean, there's one that's up for consideration right now, and all of them, like you said, I think the youngest one that I saw might have been like 74 years old. I don't think that they want them to be that young because I think they're hoping to get rid of them.
Joe Biden should be about the right age to be the pope.
Yeah, but
let's send him over there.
Well, the Catholic Church basically excommunicated Joe simply because, he
Slept with his babysitter.
no, he's pro-abortion. He's pro-abortion.
Okay.
So where well, I missed that thing. Anyway, there is an American. I was going to look up that link, and producer David took it away. David's sick, by the way. That's why he's not on the show. He's a whiny man. Just kidding. I told him we could do it without him. We really couldn't, but he
Dude,
said,
he is
said
one of
I'm
the most
sick, not a wuss.
He's one of the most positive energy
Yeah, there's that
people
thing.
that
Thank you,
I've
David.
been involved in the business.
Let me tell you, David is my hero. David Medina, if you're not following him, love him. He encourages me every single day. And just a good dude. Follow him. So, but yeah, the Vatican's going to have a papal conclave, Steve, and the College of Cardinals is going to come together, and they're going to elect the next churches, the next head, and then you're going to see the smoke. It's going to come out of the chimney above the papal apartment, if you will, and
That's
they'll
kinda like-
decide.
So, like, I think it was what was that? What was that show? It's Game of Thrones or something. When they lit the thing when somebody died, the big fire coming out the top, little smoke stack.
Yeah,
Is that maybe
so.
where they pulled it from, the Catholic Church or something? I don't know.
I don't think they pulled it from Game of Thrones, but you never know.
No, I meant
immigration,
vice versa.
and customs
Yeah.
and
Like when a new leader was appointed or something, new king.
Yeah, but the Vatican's a beautiful place. I will say this: the landscaping is fantastic. You go through there, you go through the museums, man. You talk about the gold and all that stuff. Like they've got their coaches and stuff like from like 1,000 years ago. These guys, I mean, they've lived pretty lavish, dude. Pretty lavish stuff. Speaking of gold, Birch Gold, they don't have any coaches, but they will help you with your retirement. Birch Gold, they are the partners. If you'll text Chad, CHAD, I spell it Chad to 989898. They'll make you feeling like a pope in your retirement, man. You'll be papal all day long. 989898 to Chad, or Chad to 989898, and let them help you secure your future with an IRA backed by physical gold. If you got the 401k or the IRA that's not doing anything, you want to roll a little money over, let them help you navigate the future. They will send you a free, no obligation information kit that will walk you through the process of converting what you got over to gold. Text Chad to 989898. I talked to them the other day. They said, let them call. We're ready to help them. So, yeah, let them do it. Chad to 989898. I see you, Jeremy. Mike freaking Yoho. He's a great redneck welder as well. Mike is good people. Mike is good people, and we have been all over literally the world together. And we got some adventure stories. But Mike said, well, where's the 15 chapel? Loved it. Klaus Schwab. Klaus Schwab. I almost called him Kurt Schwab. Kurt Schwab's a guy I know in Fort Worth. Klaus Schwab he stepped down from the head of the WEF. It's not going to mean a single thing. They're still evil. They're still one world government. They're still all for one world economic deal. They're still for modern monetary theory. They're still for bringing you down and taking control of all the money, global economy. But he announced his resignation on Monday. He founded the World Economic Forum 55 years ago. You'll know nothing and you will be happy.
Is he like the Charles Schwab?
No, not the same. Not the same. He is a Bond villain. And he might, stepping down, I guess a good thing because it might limit his influence, but it's sort of like George Soros getting out of the way and his son takes over. You still have the same people. He's still going to be pulling the same evil strings from the shadows because one of these guys, we'll see what happens. I see some interesting things. That things come in threes. The Pope dies. Schwab steps down. Who's going to be the next member of the Illuminati to go? We don't have to get too deep into all that stuff, but I'll just tell you, yeah, he's trash. He's garbage, and I'm happy to see him go. These guys, they're not good people, man. And there's a good chance that whenever you create a vacuum, you on nothing.
That's perfect.
There's a good chance whenever you leave a leadership vacuum like this, that someone far more insidious and evil will step into the role. So it's going to be interesting to see. This, my friends, is a time to pray. I'll put it that way. This is a time to pray. I would pray that when it comes to the influence of the Catholic Church, that someone who enters into, takes the role of the papacy would be a little more conservative leaning, would be a little more fair-minded and common sense, and then whoever fills in this role with Klaus Schwab. I mean, there's no redeeming the World Economic Forum. There's no redeeming it. They do not want you. Remember, these are the people that get on their private jets every year and go to Davos, Switzerland. You can't get there from here. That's why my friend Larry Taunton, he goes over there. He has to take the train up through the mountains. When you get up there, it's like $3,000 a night just to have a hotel room. He has to have people who invest in him going every year so he can go expose what they're doing. So this is an evil deal. That's why the Leonardo DiCaprios of the world and the Klaus Schwabs and all the other people go in there, these card-carrying members of the WEF, they have to fly into those mountains there in Davos. And then they're going to preach to you about climate change. Yeah. And tell you about how they need to control your money. No. Here's what Trump had to say. Trump made a post after this deal. Said, the world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but rather by those who watch them without doing anything to stop them. And, of course, people are melting down over Trump making a statement like that. But, I mean, where is the lie? I mean, so, he made that in reference to, both the Pope and Klaus Schwab. So, I mean, again, I go back to the World Economic Forum. Where was the Catholic Church in slowing down the advancement and the spread of the World Economic Forum? Where were they? Where was this Pope? Where was any Pope in regards to that? When has any church ever slowed it down?
Stacking their money.
And don't even get me started on the American church, the Protestant church out here, who's more focused on building a mega church and putting together, preaching pulpiteer celebrities out there. They're, we were talking before the thing. You were saying, you asked the deal. You're like, who is sort of like the person that speaks on behalf of, the Protestant church. It ain't Joel Osteen, I can tell you that. Here's one that says, the Pope dies, Klaus Schwab resigns from the WEF, Trump is president, churches were full this Easter. All of this happened a day after hundreds of thousands converted to Catholicism. The energy is shifting. God is back in the mainstream. Nature is healing. Is it? I don't know. I don't know. We need to see a whole lot more than that to happen. So, And listen, horror of horrors, Trump, they have the Easter egg roll out on the lawn of the White House. Last year, Joe Biden did it and called it a transgender day of visibility, which, again, that happens every year to be
We see
fair.
you. We see you.
Yeah, we definitely see you, but it just happened. It just happened to happen on Easter last year. So I'm not too conspiratorial on, he changed Easter. But Trump, I mean, horror of horrors, Trump, they used real Easter eggs. They dyed real eggs. My buddy Gunther Eagleman said, I understand that Democrats have to oppose literally everything that Trump does. But this is a new one because they said Trump's White House is using 30,000 real eggs worth over $15,000. Do the math, Steve.
Okay. I'm not doing the math, but
I mean, that's $2 an egg, brother.
There's not an egg crisis.
Oh, there's not. Not when you can fly them in from South America, too. I don't know if they did.
They probably did. They have been. So.
But this was at the Democrats. This is the Democrats' official page on X said, meanwhile, Americans dyed potatoes instead of eggs this Easter to save money. Does anybody in the chat, anybody out there, does anybody even listen to this show? I don't know. Do you know anybody in your family that dyed a potato? How do you dye a potato, Steve?
Maybe if they're Irish. I don't know.
I mean, how do you dye a potato?
You just soak it in food coloring.
Mm-mm. God, that's gross.
Vinegar.
Ugh.
Vinegar and food coloring.
I don't think it works like that on potato.
I bet you can't. No, you remember when you were in school, you cut a potato in half and you put it in a jar with food color, and the roots go down.
It wasn't, that wasn't very festive, right? That wasn't very festive at all with the deal. I want to know who out there, where do they get this stuff? Where do they come up with this crap? Like, where do they come up with this crap? I mean, who out there is hiding potatoes from their kids? Now, I understand the little plastic pop-open eggs that's got a Tootsie Roll of, a dollar bill inside of it. Let me tell you, back years ago, I had a little farm south of Atlanta and a little piece of property down there, and we had the church kids over to do a Easter egg hunt. And whoever was in charge of that thing, they brought thousands of those little plastic eggs and hid it all over my property. Bro, when I moved out of that property 4 or 5 years later, I was still mowing over those things. Like, I was like, man, this is crazy, man. Crazy. I've seen that.
I've seen them put money in the plastic eggs for the kids.
Yeah. Yeah. These kids are rotten these days, dude. You know what? Give them a potato. Be good for them. I remember back in the day, we used to boil eggs and dye those eggs. And then when we were done, you know what we got? You know what we got after the egg hunt? We ate the damn eggs.
Yeah, you turn them into like the deviled eggs.
And we didn't even turn them into deviled eggs. We just peeled them and ate a pink egg because it had gone through the thing. It had been sitting overnight in the refrigerator. And so we just ate the pink egg. Maybe if we were lucky, we got a little salt to put on it. Maybe some pepper. We rolled it around in the dirt and eat it. We didn't care. These kids these days got Sour Patch candies, and I saw kids yesterday doing a piñata. Piñatas, what do piñatas have to do with Easter?
An Easter bunny shaped piñata?
No, it was just, cool. I don't know, man. It was just weird.
Well, we just mix all the traditions into one thing. And while we're thinking about Jesus
should do that.
Resurrecting.
Here's my bad idea of the week. Why don't we just have one big holiday? That's it. Just one big holiday, one big week-long fiesta where we just celebrate the bunny and the presents and and the Valentines and all the stuff.
Like, get it all over with one day.
Like there's holidays and then there's holidays,
it's
right?
It's kind of like speed dating. You just hit all of them real fast in a row.
And everybody goes broke, and they call the church to get their light bill paid because they've been running lights in the house on their house all week long. I got ideas. They're not good ones, though. They're not good ones. But yeah, our reward for finding the eggs is we ate the daggum eggs, man. And I see what you say, Spectre. Hard-boiled egg yolks are dry as the Sahara. When I was a kid, I wouldn't eat the yolk, man. I wouldn't. Now I want an egg salad sandwich, though.
Yeah. I underboil the eggs so they're yellow, still just a little, just almost. I got it perfected of how I do it.
Yeah.
Right amount of time for everything. So.
You got a little bit of the chicken still left inside of it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that's gross, man. I found a heart. I see what you say there, J-Hyde 78. Church in town dropped eggs from a helicopter. Greg Biffle, NASCAR's Greg Biffle, who also helped to do so much in North Carolina after Hurricane Helene, they dropped a bunch of eggs. I don't do helicopters anymore. Like, I refuse to get on one, but I would like to see that, just to watch those things go whoosh, under that rotor blade. Oh man, I want my eggs dead too. Exact cause for the Pope's death has been revealed. Why are you laughing, dude? Why are you laughing?
Because I was thinking JD Vance murdered him.
You're a mess, dude.
He was the last one with him.
What? So here we are. Pope Francis, his death reveals, had a stroke early this evening, went into a coma, had a heart attack, and passed at 88. He'd been, like I said, I think, like 32 days in the hospital. So Trump's first foreign trip will be attending the Pope's funeral, according to the New York Post.
It sounds like they injected him full of a bunch of drugs so he could do a speech on Easter, and then he died from it all.
I don't know. That's sort of the thing. I don't know what they're pumping these guys up full of. We saw that with Joe Biden. I don't know that they're doing that with the Pope. I'll never forget my late. I had great aunts, my grandfather's twin sisters, and they were like, "Oh," when they saw Pope John Paul II, they were like, "Oh, he just floated like Christ." I was like, I didn't know Christ floated, but she's like, when he came out, he just floated on by, and I was like, yeah, it's a little bit too much for me, but They still get strokes and they still have heart attacks and they don't come back from the dead. So they're not like Christ. Yeah. Allied Oil Field. Go to alliedoilfield.com. Over here, we're still dig baby digging, drill baby drilling. And those folks out there getting that oil we need to get this economy moving again. And folks like Allied Oil Field, they're the guys who create the equipment, build the equipment so that our oil fields and those folks out there getting our oil and gas, get it out of the ground. So I want you to check them out, alliedoilfield.com. If you're in that industry, you're an engineer or you're part of the oil and gas industry or the trucking industry, go over there and check them out, man. They got a lot of concepts, and they'll also work with you to build your concept, your design, your equipment. And they have been an industry leader for well over 20 years out in Levelland, Texas. We're going to go see them this summer when we got a show up in Lubbock. We're going to go visit with them. But good friends, good fans of the show, and we love them. And they created this stuff, which kind of changed the industry for the oil and gas field. So visit them over at alliedoilfield.com. They got some cool stuff. It's like reading that stuff.
I'm going to give them a call, say, hey, this is Party Foul Steve, and see if they know who I am. If they don't,
they know.
My heart's going to be hurt.
You know, Steve, you have this thing about needing to be recognized, huh?
Yeah, I can't help it.
You're like kind of
I do this. I do it for fame and fortune.
Where's... Well, I think we're doing it wrong because you can have the fame. I don't want to be famous. I want the fortune. I'll take the fortune. Let's do that. Which, by the way, if you sign up this week, let me just tell you, on my Make Wellness team, pow, 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 you get your peptides out there. Here, you shut up, Steve. This is my dude. This is my show, buddy. You sign up on my Make Wellness team this week. You become an affiliate, which is free, but you make your order. But when you do, you order product. And you do it with subscribe and save, which will give you the discount. You do those two things. I'll keep track of it, and I'll send you a Team CP hat.
What about your affiliates that are already affiliates?
No. This week, that's the giveaway this week. We gave away shirts. They're in the mail. They're going out to the people from a week ago.
So am I getting a hat?
I don't know, dude. Look, it costs money, bro. Make me some money.
I'm figuring it out.
Make me some money. The Team CP hats look good, though.
Who's going to go pick those hats up from the hat maker?
You or me, one. Hopefully
right.
You.
Well, if I do it, then you're going to be missing one.
We'll know when you can show up the next day wearing a Team CP hat. Now, I can't imagine anybody wanting something like that, but I designed it. I used AI to design the Team CP hat. It's crazy what you can do. I'm seriously taking a class right now about AI. Like I'm back in school. I'm taking a class on AI because in Kendra Spears, you can get a CP hat. I'll send you 6 of them, girl. Kendra Spears, you can have anything you want. If I got it, it's yours, sister. Okay? Because you've had to put up with Todd Spears for so long. I saw that firsthand this week, baby. You can do it. Looks like the White House is looking to replace Pete Hegsth as defense secretary. That is breaking right now. It looks like, they might be, this is from NPR, so let's take it for what it's worth at this point. I do believe that, like Dan Bongino says, I'd rather be right than first, but this is breaking news. The White House is looking to replace Pete Hegsth as defense secretary. Of course, there was another signal issue that came out. Click on that, David. Click on one of those stories. Let's blow that thing up and take a look at it because you're learning this as I'm learning it.
Man, I love Pete, but if something that he did that's inappropriate and he's not supposed to do it,
well, it is the signal chat stuff going on, and you have these things going on with what's going on with this signal. These messages are getting sent out. The wrong people are on them, or the information is getting sent to people that it shouldn't get sent to. I'm willing to give somebody to the. Let's do a quick search, David. I know you're behind the scenes. Let's see if the White House has responded to that on Pete. Let's just see. The NPR saying that, so I take it with a grain of salt. I'm going to look as we look at this thing refutes. Let's see what he says. Let's see what it says. White House denies the NPR report in their search for the new defense secretary. It says fake news. says Carolyn Levitt. They've got that says this NPR story is totally fake news based on one anonymous source who clearly has no idea what they're talking about. As the president said this morning, he stands strongly behind sec def. So again, like I said, you'd rather be right than first, but it'd be interesting to see. There's a lot of heat on Pete. I'll put it that way. There's a lot, and of course, that is going to be the response that's going to come out from the White House. But is there any truth behind it?
Well, if they do fire him, I want him brought into the Oval Office, and I want Trump to say, "You're fired."
You're fired. I hope that it's not true.
Yeah, I hope it's not, but
I hope it's not true. Let's see. Donald Trump. Oh, have you been on NPR's website? It is, or their Twitter account, their X account, absolutely disgusting. I'm not seeing it right off the top. So maybe they've retracted. David, are you on NPR.com? Where are we on? Or .org, whatever they are. .org. I know this is good quality television right here. Let's see what they got. Yep, there it is. There is the story. Let me see what they say. They said this comes as Defense Secretary Pete Hegsth continues to find himself mired in controversy. NPR has also confirmed the same official. Again, you're talking to a U.S. official who has not been authorized to speak publicly. You know, that's what Graham was talking about this morning. If you just consider the source. Yeah. So, I don't know. Carolyn Levitt, they do mention in this, Carolyn Levitt denied that there's an effort to replace Hegseth.
they just did. Maybe that's just headline grabbing stuff to make them click on their.
Well,
thing to
we
read
did it. We did it. We
It
fell for
worked.
it.
We did it.
We
Everybody
fell
else
for
in
it.
the chat looked it up. all of us.
But again, I'm willing to say those things out loud and show you what the world is discussing. But I always do say that you want to check it, double check it, because what's my rule? You know, Bongino's got a rule. I got a rule too. My first rule of critical thinking is where am I wrong? Where am I wrong? So that's what you always want to double check on that before you go crazy and check it out. So we'll see. We'll see. Obviously, this is a developing thing. We'll see what's going on. President Trump responds to the fake news smear campaign against Pete Hegseth. He's doing a great job. Ask the Houthis how he's doing.
He's doing a great job. Thanks, sir. Ask the Houthis how he's doing. Ask the Houthis how
love
much
our
dysfunction
president.
is
Ask the
done.
Houthis, ask the blowfish.
I love him.
Yeah, he's after the
More and
Houthis
more.
and the blowfish. Man, I wish I had I don't have any energized up here. I need some. I need some of my Make Wellness. I don't have a single packet up here.
You mean
Steve.
this stuff? Make Wellness Energized right here in the blue packages. You put a little bit of this in your water, and
You're
bam.
such a. You're
you
such
can go to
an ass.
my Facebook page and Instagram and
Give
be
me one of
on
those.
my team.
This side. Give me one of those. Yeah. They're all down in the kitchen. Give me one of those. Yeah, there it is. There it is. All right. Illegals from Mexico arrested in Colorado. We wanted to get into this morning. Let's pull that clip up real quick. Two illegal aliens from Mexico arrested in Colorado for unlawful possession of 180,000 rounds of ammunition. What could they be doing with all that 7.62 and 308?
Selling it to rednecks.
What could... Colorado is not the easiest place to move armaments. So, I mean, you remember that you had the Trinidad gang who did not take over that apartment complex last year until it was proven that they actually did.
They could be buying it and taking it back to Mexico.
I don't think so. I think they're arming on American soil. I think them things are going to pop off. I think it's a powder keg. I think all somebody's got to do is flip a switch and we're at war. And I don't know how many people are ready. You know, I stand out here and I look at where I live and I look at, I know everybody should just like walk out in front of their house sometime and be like, okay, what if 30 armed guys or a dozen armed guys decide to march down my street and they were just going to take this street? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
That's kind of basically what we've done here this morning was to have a security, assessment.
Assessment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I keep a generator in front of my front door so you can kick it, but it ain't coming in.
yeah. I just don't want to have to move again. That's just like, man.
I don't want to have to roll up a body in a rug. I don't want to have to deal with the scrubbing of the blood on the wall and the sheetrock and the plaster and the holes. I don't want to deal with that again.
Yeah.
But I think everybody should take a look at their house. You know, my buddy Travis Wilson, Green Beret Foundation, Alpha Elite, retired Green Beret. I have had him on the show before, and I said, dude, do you ever like look at your house and just think about it? He's like, there's some spots, there's some points, but he said, I don't think about it like that, because he's a guy who's used to running towards gunfire when most people run away from it. And he said, I just don't really think about, where's my sniper's nest from upstairs. I don't think about stuff like that. Like if they come, let's go. We gonna die. I mean, let's get after it. But I'm taking as many of them out as I can when they come my way.
Yeah.
And I've told you the story, what I told CJ that one day when I was in there cleaning rifles. And she's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, if 30 dudes come down the road, these old senile bastards that live on this street ain't going to save me.
No, they're not.
You've seen my neighbors.
Yeah, they're not.
They keep to themselves. They're scared to death of their own shadow. They don't like it when I park a truck on a curb in order to move another car out of the driveway.
Yeah.
I get a strongly worded letter.
I think about 90% of my neighbors are all got a house full of guns, so that including the couple of police officers down the road.
Yeah.
So.
CJ didn't like it when I said, listen, you always save one bullet for yourself. She wasn't a fan of that philosophy, but it's what you do. I mean, keep something for you and the kids. You don't want to take them alive.
Yeah.
Well, this descended into some chaos, didn't it?
That's what we are. We are chaos.
Yeah. Booby trap. I won't get back into that story. We talked about it this morning. Christy Noam, her purse was stolen over the weekend. Had her ID, had her pass that, she gets into secure areas there at Homeland, had $3,000 in cash. All the stuff that was stolen, credit cards, ID, everything, her security pass, everything. You know what they talk about? Well, would she have $3,000 in cash in her purse?
That's what I was like, dang. Like,
Steve, let me ask you a question. When I walked out of the hotel and met you at the truck Saturday morning before we got back on the road, what did I hand you?
What did you hand me? Oh, cash?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I said, here, put this in your pocket.
Yeah. It didn't stay there, though.
No, you got rid of it.
Yeah, I put it away.
You spent it, but you had it. I had it to give you.
Yeah, you did give me, but
you know why? You know why? Because the night before, I had sat down at Harris Casino at the blackjack table for 2 hours, me and Jesse Payton, and I mopped up, cleaned up. And I said, you know what? You know who needs a little money? A little extra money?
Yeah. It will
Steve Powell.
I got a spot for it.
But sometimes people have cash. Not everybody. Like, I don't have credit cards. I don't use credit cards. I have one small business card, just in case of what we have to do. But it gets paid off every month. Some people use cash. And
my wife keeps
Christy
cash.
freaking Noam, for crying out loud.
She hides all the cash from me. I give it to her, and then she hides the cash.
Yeah.
So she's got a safe. I've got a safe, but it's more like a lock box. We don't keep it there.
Where'd you get the safe?
From your garage. It was just sitting there, and it wasn't being used. I was like,
I was like, hey, I got an extra safe. A lockbox.
Yeah, it's a lockbox. It's not
Tiffany,
really a safe.
Tiffany, I see you, Tiffany, say, oh, gosh, now people will look for y'all. Good.
No, I don't walk around with cash. It's like
now you're being a puss.
Why?
Now you're afraid somebody's going to come looking for you.
No, I'm just saying I don't walk around with cash.
Man. People come looking for us.
You got to put it inside my belt. Belt wallets.
I got a death threat yesterday from somebody. Trust me, if I'm gonna walk in fear, that would have happened a long time ago. Like if I was gonna worry about somebody coming and rob me or whatever. I mean, what did we have to do? We had to keep stopping because we took one of the trucks. We took the truck on the road with us, and the bed cover, that's the fold back bed cover, you had to keep getting out. We had to keep putting duct tape on the seam because the end of last year, when I did shows in Oklahoma City, somebody came out there with a razor and cut the seam and tried to look into the bed cover to see if there was anything in there that they could steal. So I haven't replaced the bed cover. So we just keep duct taping that seam.
That's cheap duct tape.
It is a cheap duct tape.
It's like dollar genitals.
Dollar genitals. But Willie, don't you go back there, boy. I know what you're going to lift that leg. But what we do is we do, I buy a bunch of supplies. I buy a bunch of stuff. And one of those things I buy in bulk is duct tape. And that duct tape did not do so well. not so well. But I'm not going to walk in fear. But I am.
Prepared. It's about being prepared.
100%.
So,
100%. I don't travel anywhere without a tourniquet. I get it from Refuge Medical. My boy Bear, TJ Morris. I get it. I get it from Refuge Medical. I get all my stuff. I got my first aid kits. I got all my stuff. I'll shoot you and then fix you.
You got your big tampon, your wound tampon?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, and tampons are not good for stuffing bullet wounds. I'll just tell you guys, it's not big enough. But yeah, I got my wound care stuff. I got all of it, and I've used it. People always know to come ask me. I want you to look
I
at
had a hangnail once, and you fixed it.
I can fix it. Tough Hedeman had gotten in a wreck and broken ribs, and he goes, "You got anything?" I was like, "Yeah, let me give you." I mean, this dude's got his whole face busted off of bodacious years ago, broke every bone in his face. And Tough Hedeman, I gave him ibuprofen. He's like, "Man, I feel like I'm on drugs." I said, "You had never taken ibuprofen?" He's like, "Nope." So here we go.
He looks like he's in pain everywhere he walks.
He is in pain everywhere he walks. Trump versus Biden on Easter. Let's take a look at this quick comparison before we get out of here. Remember when Joe had to get escorted away by the Easter Bunny because the press was asking too many questions and he got in the middle of him and they just had to escort him away.
Do you think that was a CIA bunny?
I think it was a Secret Service bunny.
Yeah, that's what. Secret Service bunny.
Yeah, but they had to get his yapping mouth away. Hey, I'm going to the Secret Service. Take all these national secrets. Yeah, it's national secrets. Look at
You
Trump.
remember the bunny with Joe Biden? Remember? You remember when the bunny took Joe Biden out? He's not taking Trump out. Anyway, that was a beautiful moment when the bunny saved Joe Biden.
That's great. He is funny. He's like
funny.
the biggest troll funny.
The
guy
funniest clip of a holiday or whatever you want to call it, an event at the White House, to me, the funniest one ever was the Halloween one when the kid in the Minion blow up thing and Trump, he couldn't use his hands. And so Trump was just setting the candy on top of his head and it was sliding off. And that was hilarious to me. That's the best. And then when Trump looked at the solar eclipse, that was fantastic too. Oh my gosh. I wanted to play this clip this morning on Dear America. We didn't get to it. Before we get out of here, this is great. Pull this clip up and y'all just pay attention. Listen to this real quick.
Democrats, Trump is not your enemy. You know who your enemy is? The whole entire Democratic Party and its establishment. They are your enemy. If anything, Trump is your ally. Trump is your ally, and he is an ally for all Americans. He does not discriminate against anybody's political affiliation, and I think he should know that by now. Trump is there for the people. And instead of having all this energy, spewing a lot of hate and vitriol against Trump, you need to have that energy directed at holding all Democratic politicians accountable for their actions. If this latest stint of Colin Van Hollen hasn't proven to you that the Democratic Party just does not give a F about you as Democratic constituents,
They don't.
I don't know what else to tell you. It's time.
That's speaking
Wake
some
up.
truth right there.
You guys need to probably reassess and really do a self-introspection and figure out who you guys need to be loyal to and where your loyalties lie.
Common sense. We need to maybe do a give, send, go, and get her a new hat. Maybe we could, something like that. You can get your No Weapon shirt over at redpillchad.com. No Weapon. I got my whole, hang on, I'm going to turn around. Got my whole, No Weapon.
None of them shirts.
Hang on. Good. Yeah. I don't know if you can see it or not. No weapon fashioned against me will prosper.
I like it.
I like it. It's a good looking shirt, boy. My No Weapon. Wow. Redpillchad.com.
I probably have pizza juice on my shirt.
Sign up for Make Wellness affiliate and subscribe and save this week, I'll get you a hat. And you're like, by God, you better get me a hat. It's expensive. But you know what else is expensive? Diabetes.
Diabetes.
All of those things. Bad health. And I have never in my life felt so good as I feel right now. So good.
Yeah, it's amazing what water and some electrolytes.
Little
will do to you.
electrolytes and then doing some peptides, get them in your system. It maximizes. Somebody said, well, all you got to do is eat less and work out. And I'm like, well, wouldn't it be great if you could do something that's a natural occurring thing that your body should be producing and is not doing it so much that actually maximize your efforts in doing all of those
Put
things?
some high octane gas in there.
Mm-hmm.
Something.
Quit running on that 87 when you can run on that 92, baby. Yeah. Are we going fishing this weekend or I don't know?
We might do it.
I just don't want to go anywhere now. I just want to sit at home.
Go today. Boom.
Well, we could go over to Charlie Diggs's.
Yeah.
We could go to Charlie Diggs's.
Fish right there in the pond.
We
There's
could
lots
go.
of fishing going on. The
Oh, I
catfish
can't.
are-
I got to do Carl Higby's show on Newsmax
Dude,
again tonight.
I just my Lake Livingston reports are saying they're starting to hit the shad everywhere.
But you
so.
can't eat Lake Livingston fish,
Yeah,
man.
you can. You
You
eat fish from
can't,
everywhere.
dude.
Yeah,
They glow.
the mercury and everything. Yeah, you don't eat fish every single day.
No, but there's a lot of mercury levels in those fish, right?
Yeah, but it's just everywhere. Every lake and river in Texas got mercury in it.
If somebody, let me just say, I'm doing my tactical build out on the truck, right? My buddy Jeremy Royster, he's doing it. He's working with me, and we're building a monster. Like I have a truck. I have this truck. I just have an extra truck because that's what I do. I have these vehicles that I buy, and then we sell them or we fix them up or whatever. We're building the ultimate tactical vehicle, and. You know what, Steve? I don't know. I might fall in love with this truck and not want to get rid of it, but then who knows? Maybe we might do a giveaway or something.
But when we
I
were
don't know.
talking about the next phase of things, and we were talking about, and I was like, man, I think I might want it too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Get your eyes off that truck, Steve.
yeah, I'm gonna drive it.
It's such a badass truck. It's gonna be so badass. I mean, this is sort of like I'm building out this man's tactical beast. And it's gonna be cool, but doing that, and then what was I gonna tell you? I want to find somebody. I like finding people. I live in Montgomery County, Texas, and I love Montgomery County, and I'm moving a little closer to the lake here in the next couple of weeks. No, Linda. I'm moving a little closer to the lake, and I'm out to the lake. I was out there yesterday. I would like to find somebody. They tell me that Lake Conroe is a good fishing lake. I don't. I mean, but I've never caught fish in there. I see guys bass fishing. I know it's a recreational lake. It's also the most dangerous lake in Texas. More people die on that lake than any other lake.
And I put a lot of boats and a lot of jet skis.
A lot of boats, and on that end of the lake where it's all residential, there's no place for the wake to go, and so it bounces back out in the lake, and it's awfully, awfully reckless.
Yeah, I can remember years ago where there was people fishing at night and a pontoon boat ran over them or something.
Yeah, there's been some bad stuff.
Yeah.
David, what are you telling me to name drop? Name drop Prather.
Today.
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know.
Name drop Prather today, man.
I don't know.
Oh, he's saying you're name dropping people.
Yeah, I am. That's what I want to do. Anyway, everybody knows I'm doing a show right now and they start texting me. Stop doing that. David Medina, pray for David. He's a little under the weather. He ain't broke. He's a grown man, but he's a little under the weather and he's grinding through it. So we're gonna get him out of here. If we got any super chats, we'll read them. I don't know if we do. Okay, Emerald Coast
Look at that
14,
super chat.
$15. I'm
50.
definitely going fishing.
Heck yeah.
So bummed Chad, my hub, surprised me with tickets to the PCB show, Panama City, for my B-Day. Understand totally. We're in Fort Walton Beach. Great military town, June 14th, Flag Day, and Trump's B-Day. I'll tell you where it's going to be in Fort Walton Beach. Let me go over to where all the fun stuff is. That is Watch Chad.
And this was just added today, right?
Yeah, well, I put it on my site today. I think we already had it booked. But that's going to be June 14, and that is going to be at The Block, Fort Walton Beach. Tickets are now at watchchad.com, The Block. is the name of the venue, theblockclub.com. Right there it is on the homepage, the right side of comedy.
Bam.
Gulf of America Tour 2025. Yeah, it's good stuff. You're going to want to come to those shows, man. All right, watchchad.com is where all the fun stuff is. Anybody else? We're coming back. We will come back to PCB. And you know what? You send me a message and you do not buy tickets next time, I will put you on my guest list, VIP. We will hang out. We will spend time. And you do not buy tickets again. You send me that message, okay? We'll make sure when we announce that. Or Fort Walton Beach. I'll put you on my list at Fort Walton Beach if you want to drive over there, okay? I don't like that this thing happened. I don't cancel shows. I show up. I've never been late for a show, never missed a show. Knock on wood. Anyway, that's the deal.
Super chat.
What does it mean when it says you'll find God when you seek him with all your heart? How does one do that? Well, it's a matter of priorities. I've always said that the essence of idolatry is anything you got to ask permission from before you say yes to God. There's a lot of people who look at their bank account before they say yes to God, or they look at their relationships before they say yes to God, or they look at how it's going to affect their influence or what people are going to think of them before they say yes to God. Any of those things, that's idolatry. You've put something in front of saying yes to God. And so if you can get singularly focused, and you're seeking God and seeking him with everything you got, none of us are truly always going to do that without the help of God's Spirit helping us, right? But that's one of those things where it's just a matter of asking God to take control of your heart. Proverbs 3, says that, you want God to order your steps, right? Every step you take, you want him to order your steps. And that's the deal. You can't do it unless he orders the steps in pursuing God. Jesus also told his disciples, he said, ask, seek, and knock. Ask, it'll be given to you. Seek, you'll find. Knock, and the door will be open unto you. That's present tense. It's a present tense that says not only you ask, you go on asking, you go on seeking. Incessantly, you go on knocking. You women who have ever tried to get away from your toddler and take a poop in peace behind a closed door in the bathroom, and that kid's just knocking on the door, knocking, mama, 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 mama. That's what it looks like. I'm going to keep knocking until God opens that door up for me. Yeah. Mama, mama.
Start with the Bible right there. First thing in the morning.
Get it right there. Look where I got it.
It's
always right here.
It's
right here. Always within arm's reach. And you got the supercomputer right there where you can just pull it up on the deal. Anything else there, Producer David? Hey, we got through another hour. At David Medina PDX. Go over there and follow him on the gram. Look at his content. Of course, Party Foul Steve wants you to follow him on Venmo.
Yeah, at Party Foul Steve on Venmo.
Yep.
It only costs $20 to follow me on Venmo. Now, you find me at Party Foul Steve, all the social medias, Facebook and Instagram. Yep. X, I'm on there, but I don't do much on there.
No, I don't blame you. You know what I've decided about X? It's just a garbage.
I could delete
trash.
the app and my life would not change.
Well, it's so ugly. It's so ugly over there. And I was posting a lot on there, and then you catch crap because, listen, I'm a comedian, dude. I go out and try to make people laugh. I try to have a good time with people. I'm not a journalist. I'm not a media guy. I'm not any of that. I want to be genuine. I want to be real with people. And then people come out there crucifying you. They call you conservative ink. And it's like, if I'm conservative ink, let me just tell you, I wouldn't spend 250,000 miles a year in the air going from city to city doing live shows. I'm sorry, but I don't make my living on social media like that, like these people out there that are hunting for clicks and likes. You can look at my X account. So I've started putting what I want to put out there in terms of, I ain't worried about the politics so much. There's enough people that are telling you that. I want to tell you, going forward, I want to tell you encouraging things. I want to tell you things that might help you think, things that might bless you, things that might bring you closer to seeking God, things that inspire you, because that's just where I'm at. I'm going to start talking out of the fullness of my own heart, man. And that's just where I'm at. And I don't care if people like it or lump it. They can, whatever. I'll put my prayers out there. I'm just going to put it out there. And,
you do very good at that.
The powers that be may not like it.
Because your prayers are encouraging to me. So,
well, I put them out there.
And
at the end of the day,
it is the first thing I look at when social media. I go straight to your page in the mornings and see if you're kind of lets me know if you're awake.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like
I will tell you this. I'll tell you this. I'm a good time, right? I like to have fun. I'll joke with people. I'll tell you jokes. We'll have a fun time. I'm not. If you got thin skin and you worried about easily offending, yeah, I'm not the person to be around. Like, because we're gonna show you the edge of the cliff, right? But I know that Christ is King and Jesus is Lord, and I like to remind people of that. He's the King of my life and He's the Lord of my life. And when I put those prayers out there, I try to think about how can I exalt Christ more than anything else, where He is the one who's getting the credit. He is the one who's getting the glory. He's the one that's getting the honor. We go out and have fun together. But see, I think that's what we're supposed to do. I think we're supposed to feast. I think we're supposed to fight. I think we're supposed to have faith. I believe that we're supposed to be warriors for Christ. And again, the feasting and the fighting, all those kind of things, there's a celebration and there's a war. All of those things they're part of being a Christian warrior.
Speaking of feast, what time is dinner?
You want to do that, huh?
No, but all of that stuff.
We could go to dinner. We can go to.
I'm pretty much in your life every day, all the time, but that encourages me too. So,
well, earlier the better. So you get your wife rounded up, okay?
Yeah.
And when we're done here, I have to do at 4:00. I have to do Carl. I got to do Newsmax.
Carl, French fried potatoes.
I reckon I'll have one of them big ones.
I reckon I'll do that other show.
Yeah, but I've got to do. I'm on there every week. Anyway, I've got to do that, and I felt bad right there. But come over there and hang out with us on Newsmax, and then after that, you and I will go to dinner. Okay, how's that?
Don't tempt me.
Yeah, how's that? We'll do it. But anyway, I got to tape that. Then let's go eat. We'll eat a steak and some corn brulee. How about that? All right, guys. Higby. I could not call Carl's last name. I know Carl like I know your last name, and I couldn't call Carl Higby. Thank you, guys. Do not tell Carl
the whole chat
that
knows
happened.
Carl's last name.
Everybody knows Carl Higby. He's a nut. He's crazy. He's one of my favorite people. I love Higby.
Yeah.
I actually call him Higby when I'm on his show. I'm like, listen, Higby, like we have a good time. But I was like, my brain farted right there. I'm tired, dude. I didn't sleep this weekend. All right, let me get out of here. You guys, God bless you. Thank you for participating. It's hard. It's hard on a man out here running his mouth all day. But that's what we're trying to do. And we have our Faith, Family, and Freedom Celebration May 3rd out in Mount Pleasant, Texas, out there at the ranch. We'll put the information over on watchchad.com. We're going to do some praise and worship. We're going to do some country music and some comedy, but it's going to be some nice, clean stuff out there at the ranch. And it's going to be some, good uplifting thing. I wrote a Jesus song last night, Steve. Y'all want to hear, before I get out of here, y'all want to hear some lyrics that I wrote last night? Yeah,
let's hear it.
It's some good stuff, man. And then, well, I won't get into all that. But I wrote this. Steve Helms sent me a thing last night, and he said, my wife was talking about you got to have a test before you have a testimony. And he said, write that song. And so I jumped on there, and pretty quick I wrote it, and it said, let me just give you a little piece of let me just give you the chorus, okay? I said, without a test, there can be no testimony. No chains get broke, no telling story. You can't feel saved if you ain't felt lost. You won't know the gain if you don't know the cost. I'll raise my hands and sing in harmony that without a test, there can be no testimony. So it's a little jam, dude.
Nice.
A little jam.
Is that truth?
Yeah. I've seen prayers that went unanswered, only to be answered later on. I felt grace in every failure, found his strength when mine was gone. He don't always calm the thunder, but he'll ride it out with me. Every scar I've got's a chapter in my soul's own victory. Come on, baby. Come on. Gonna preach with you. Gonna hit it with a Hollywood hot tub. All right. I love that line, though, right there. It says, he don't always calm the thunder, but he'll ride it out with me.
Nice.
I like that.
I like it.
I like that. All right. Well, maybe we'll record that here. We recorded. I played it last night and then let AI.
Is it like a country song or a rap song?
It's a country gospel song. Here's
Okay.
let me let you guys hear a little piece of it. So I let AI. I'm doing the AI class, right? So I put the stuff in there, and I said, "This is the way I want to hear." And I'm going to send it to my friend Brian White. Everybody knows Brian White used to sing. He sang on that Shania Twain song. Brian's amazing. But
Name
it
dropping,
sounds-
David. Listen
it
to him.
sounds like Brian. I'll give y'all a little piece. Can y'all hear that?
Yeah.
Walking through the valley with no light to guide my way. Praying hard but here in silence, feeling lost most every day. But the Lord, He wasn't absent. He was teaching me to see that the darkest kind of midnight brings the dawn eventually. Without a test, there can be no testimony, no mountain move, no shouting glory.
Yeah.
That's great, dude.
And preach hope if you ain't known pain. You can't dance in joy if you ain't walked through rain. So I thank the storms that brought me to my knees. 'Cause without a test, there can be no testimony.
There you go.
Yeah, I would rather say there ain't no testimony because I like to use the word ain't.
You do like the word ain't.
Yeah, that's because my mom. It reminds me of my mom. She was an English teacher, and she
Yeah.
couldn't stand me to say it, so I made
Yeah.
sure I said it extra, and I've been
like
saying it ever since.
I like it, dude. If you
good.
can't dance in joy if you ain't walked through rain. So I thank the storms that brought me to my knees. Because without a test, there can be no testimony. I like it.
That's
No
good.
mountain move, no shouting glory. You can't preach hope if you ain't known pain. You can't dance in joy if you ain't walk through the rain. All right. Anyway, gotta go. Ain't. Everything's gonna be a whole. We just write a song called Ain't.
Ain't. No, it's already been written.
All right, we're out of here. Steve, I'll see you in a little while.
All right, see you.
Let me know. For the rest of y'all, I love y'all. God bless you. Thank you, producer David. Follow him. He's like, y'all shut up so I can go rest again. Anyway, appreciate you. Appreciate you. Y'all be good. I'll talk to you tomorrow morning on Dear America. Don't forget Hot Seat with Todd Spears just in a little while at 3. And then Megan moves on tonight as well. God bless you guys. We'll talk to you in the morning. Bye.